I'm Delfeayo Marsalis. I play trombone and lead the Uptown Jazz Orchestra here in New Orleans. I don't feel that the music has changed so much in terms of what's actually being played. I think that it has naturally evolved the way that it would have, whether there was a hurricane as devastating as Katrina or not. The primary difference would be the influx of people from out of town who have now come in, and now, you know, New Orleans is kind of like a vacation spot almost. So in addition to that, we have a number of musicians who have come in, and you see a lot of the street musicians who are from, you know, wherever they're from, Minnesota or Iowa. So that's kind of different. But I'd say the musicians, you know, Kermit Ruffins, Hurl and Riley, the guys who have been here doing it, you know, Charmaine Neville, you know, we're still kind of presenting the music the way that we have been. The primary difference being that the audiences in some instances are larger because of the interest in New Orleans. Well, the great thing about New Orleans is the amount of African traditions that we've held on to, and I think that's the one thing why people feel so at home here. You know, the African people are always so rich and welcoming when you meet them, and so I'd say that to say that musically it's very similar, and we're able to coexist. So you could have a brass band in the street playing, and you could have a jazz orchestra here playing at Snug Harbor down the street. You could have some guys playing modern or even free jazz. And then you could have kind of the Dixieland sound that they do across the street at the Spotted Cat. And it all kind of works together. And any of us could, you know, probably rotate and fit in a different band. What I'm trying to do, what I'd like to do is to maintain the intellectual approach that Charlie Parker and Louis Armstrong and these guys maintain, but at the same time bring out that joy. And it's tricky today. It's tricky. It's very hard in this generation because it's Twitter. Everything has to be 140 characters. You know, so if you can't make that message very quickly, you know, I think it's difficult. So that's what we're trying to do. But when the people come in and you know, they're part of the group, they're part of the show, they're part of the family when we play. And I think that's the way to really make that message is we're all part of the same family. Jazz has a lot to do with, I'd say, providing a firm foundation. You know, there's been a lot of attention that's gone over to the rap and the hip hop, but you know, it's not those guys' fault. I mean, they're doing the best that they can. But with jazz, you know, you have a richness of harmony and rhythm and an understanding. It's not just the idea of, okay, I'm going to write clever lyrics and I'm going to put them on top of a beat or on top of a groove. So the main thing, though, is the more that our kids are exposed to jazz, the richer their lives will be. And I've seen it when we went up against a kind of a hip-hop group. It was my kids. I work with Uptown Music Theater. We had 20 kids. And just the scope and the range of the variety that they had. And I really was trying to reach out to the other group to say, come on, this is the fair way. The African way to do it is to share this idea, share this information. So it's highly important, and you know, we just have to keep playing, and it's very important that the guys, you know, not everyone goes away from jazz to try to say, okay, this is kind of where the dollars are, this is what people want. Yeah, the people want that, but you also have to let the people know there are other things that maybe they should check out also. I believe firmly we're in a great time as far as jazz is concerned. We got guys that like to play the traditional New Orleans, guys that like to play Dixieland, guys that like to play bebop, post-bop, swing, modern. We got the funk element added. So all these great things, you know, I think it's a great representation of how the country is today. There's lots of things going on, and I'm looking forward to see what happens in the next 20 years.